let's do this thing. Today's factspiration question. Oh, real quick. Accessibility mod was installed. Image hover. Should be able to turn it off or change the settings in the settings section of Foundry. It allows you to mouse over a token and see it in bigger. This is I kind of wish I had this the last few weeks with Mythic Odyssey, where we had about 50 minis on the board at a time. So yeah, if you don't have a computer that good at the zooming, or you're not good at discerning the details of small things, this would be very helpful. So you can kind of mouse over it to see what you need. And if you don't like it, if it's too distracting, you can always turn it off. So okay. Oh man, this is a rough question. It's a rough question. Okay. All right. We're going to say this is a complete loss, not a partial loss. Would you rather lose your sight or lose your memories? All right. While you ruminate on that, if anybody would like to give me a recap of what happened last time to get a recap inspiration, go ahead and roll d20 into chat. I've got people in some games, they're sitting on a stack of these things because there's no limit to them. So I just imagine there's going to be a night where they're like, you know what, I'm rolling good tonight. All right, got 11 from Darius, going once.
That shit didn't happen last
Going
morning.
twice. All right, Darius, let's. What happened last time?
Last time on Curse of Strahd, we were still back at Arkham Voss talking with this revenant who had not completely went batshit crazy like the rest of them. Um, I think his name was Sir Godfrey. He was telling us about, well, that Strahd is nigh immortal? Question mark. It seems every time he's been put down, somehow he just comes right back up. So the rest of his order has pretty much just decided it's probably better for him to just be in torment for the rest of his life than to rather put him down for good. He did say that one way to maybe change some things is if the skull of his master, the dragon Ardenval's Hull, was brought back to this castle keep place. It would bring back the sun, which would very much turn things against the Dark Lord. Sunlight, vampires, all that stuff. So that's one option that we have. But in order to kind of do that, we may go up against this Silver Order. If they find out we're doing this, then it's all hell's gonna really kind of break loose. Though he did say that there's a couple of revenants that haven't completely lost their shit yet, and he told us about them. Two of them are now joined up with us. We're gonna try and see if we can help them out, get their minds back, and I mean that kind of tips things a little bit into our favor, I guess. So we left the keep, headed back to Krezek in order to kind of rest up and get ourselves back in order. They were a little bit wary of us when we were bringing these revenants with us, but we were able to get inside with our connections, and then I proceeded to fuck that up. It's been rough for the past couple of days. I just wanted to kind of blow off some steam, and that seemed to have led from one thing to another, and I found myself in a graveyard digging up some bodies. Particularly one of a little Kreskov girl. So, Lady Kreskov was willing to look the other way if we go up to the Abbey and find some answers for what happened to her daughter. So that's why we're standing outside these fucking gates.
All right. Good job. Good recap. Thank you. If you already have a fact expiration on your sheet, you could increase it. Otherwise, I can grab one for you.
I will toggle this to 1.
All right. If anybody is interested in a fact expiration die, a bardic inspiration die that lasts the whole session, wants to answer this question, go ahead and roll a d20 into chat. So a couple people have some ideas here. Oh man, Daniel crushing it. All right, Daniel with a nat 20, going once, going twice. All right, Daniel.
How
Daniel
would rather.
Yeah.
Daniel would rather lose his memories, because the long and the short, kind of hates himself for all the horrible shit he's seen and participated in and done. So if he could just get rid of that, that would be wonderful.
Oh, okay, that's a cool answer. All right. You may ask the same question of any NPC you've met previously in the campaign.
Irenia.
Irenia. Irenia finally has a better sense of who she is, but her memories are a bit haunting. So, man, that's a tough call. While getting rid of her memories would definitely be nice, at the same time, she kind of views them as a responsibility, as a reminder. And even without her sight, she would still want to be able to remember certain people and certain goals. So yeah, so she would give up full sight for that. Yep. All right. Well, with all of that out of the way and established, let me give you your fact expiration die, and then we can just jump into this. All right.
Oh, I went and added that already.
Huh?
Oh, I went and added
Oh, you added yours. I love it when players want to take care of themselves. That's nice.
Teach a man the fish.
Yeah. Okay, great. Then let me grab the official music. I don't know if it's official, but people that make music for this campaign, I think it's fascinating. So let me grab some of that real quick. Throw that on in the background for some ambiance. All right. So these tracks are rendered a little low. But let's see. The other one I wanted.
I think it being low with the random ass animal sounds is probably fine.
Oh, okay, sweet.
You just barely hear them off in the distance.
I didn't know if it was coming through or not. That's good. Okay. Here's some music. Maybe. Hey, is this track broken? Just a sec. Sometimes I bookmark music and then that music it do not last. Alright.
Darius will turn to the others and be like, "Y'all don't have to be here. This was my fuck up."
Yeah, well, we can't let you go alone in there either, so just that.
There is that.
Suit yourselves.
All right. So here we go. As you guys approach the gates, you do see that there's a little padlock and chain combo kind of holding the gate closed. And Tiernan hears the honk shoes of cartoon animal people coming from inside this tower. How do you proceed?
Darius will walk up to the front gate and just bang on it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I've got notes for this. I got real adventure notes. Someone worked really hard on this. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So as you rattle the gates, you hear the sound of a cartoon dog waking up, which I don't think I'm qualified to make that sound, but it's sort of a slobbering kind of snort. And you see, you hear somebody say, "Oi, someone's here." And then another voice says, "Oi, see what they want." And then this thing comes into view. It is a humanoid man, question mark. Its body is hunched. It has the legs of what seem to be a donkey and a werewolf. It has the tail of a donkey. It has the face of a man, but the muzzle of a dog, which bleeds out into the left-hand side of the face into a large, pointy canine ear. Well muscled, but hunchbacked. The creature's eyes are wide and wild as they stare at your sizable party on the other side of the gate. The smell of unwashed animal is strong, rises up off the creature. The creature stares at all of you, but does not address you. Instead, it speaks to a person you cannot see and says, Zigfrek, I think we have company. A second individual comes into view. This one seems to be a horrible mixture of cat, man, lizard, and I don't know, wolf, as it stumbles into view. It looks at all of you with one sort of human eye, question mark, and one definitively cat-like eye. It pulls its cloak around itself against the cold. And it says, what brings you here on this cold morning, travelers?
Hey, we're The Walking Dead. Came here on business from Valakai to meet with the abbot and some other settlements along the way.
Oh, the doggo guy says, you be travelers then, aye?
Aye.
Outsiders?
Aye.
You be coming from a world where animal people is the norm. I heard rumors of such places beyond the mist.
We have birds in our world, but it's not the same thing.
The crocodile cat dude sort of looks hard at his ally and says, "They ain't got time for your fancies. They're here on business. Business with the abbot, you say? Well, I'm sure he could put you to use. No doubt you come chasing coin. All right. And you see him produce a large iron key as he approaches the gate and unlocks it. All right, Tiernan. As this Zigfrek approaches, they are very small, maybe a little over 4.5 feet tall, and you realize both of them
barely large enough to qualify as medium.
Yeah. You realize both of them sort of have that sort of stout, kind of stature, but it is probably due to their more hunchback nature. After unlocking the gate, this individual sort of scampers away and grandiosely motions for you guys to enter.
Follow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll go in.
All right. Crocodile Cat says, "My name is Lady Zigfrek Bellevue. A pleasure to meet you. This is Otto." And the dog guy waves at you guys.
Pleasure to meet you as well. We're, as we said, we're collectively known as the Walking Dead, but I'm Tiernan.
Darius.
There's too many of you to tell me your names. I will not remember them anyways. Come, I will guide you. And Otto, you guard the gate. And she tosses him a key, and he starts relocking the gate after all of you shuffle inside, all 400 of you. All right.
Well, not Shane though.
Shane's not coming?
No, I'm at.
Oh right, yeah, you're on recovery at the spa.
He's having his sweetest spa day.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. You're missing out, bro. All right, so sorry. All 399 of you head in.
There we go.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Such a lovely place. Where do we begin?
We heard about the Bellevues before, and we heard that they went to the Abbey. I thought we heard that the ones that went to the Abbey were like died or were killed.
There are many stories about what happened to the Bellevue clan. The incestuous cannibals who were cursed by the gods themselves with virulent, uncurable leprosy. But yeah, a popular thing is that they entered the Abbey and they never left. But you guys have met a Bellevue.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
As we're walking, Darius will kind of look at this. I wasn't
sure if it was smart to bring up the one brother that's not with all the others or not.
Hey,
wait,
3 charisma.
That's not. Yeah, that's not the brand for this group. What are you talking
about? Charisma be intelligence, Darius.
Well, my intelligence is also below average. Or actually, average American.
Will frequently say the absolute wrong thing, which is part of why people don't like them. You know, like again, you have the sexiest person in the world could have a 3 charisma because they're just so impossible to like.
So, you mentioned animal people before. We met one like you in Castle Ravenloft.
Ah. You have then. Yeah.
Cyril? No.
Cyrus, I believe.
Cyrus. Right? Yeah.
It's good
Mark-
to hear he's still alive. He was always so sweet.
I think I don't know if butler is the right position, but he seems to be kind of running day-to-day stuff at the castle.
This news seems to bring her some measure of happiness.
He was always a good boy. He works hard. Pity he never has time to visit. But he would be disappointed, I suppose, to see where things are now. Right. This is the sanitarium. You should not go there.
As if to punctuate this, you hear inhuman screams rise up as if something inside has caught your scent on the wind, and it has driven them into a frenzy. One by one, if you guys are familiar with, like, when a lot of dogs are nearby and they begin howling and they all start howling, a cacophonous choir of horrible, pained animal sounds rise up from inside the sanitarium until it is nearly deafening. And then suddenly you hear an inhuman sort of moaning roar from inside, and all is silent for now.
Right.
Anyways, this here's a graveyard.
As she points out the graveyard, you see it as stunted pine trees grow out of the rocky earth in the graveyard near the foundation of the Abbot's north wing. The windows of the structure are cracked panes of leaded glass. Ancient gravestones burst from a thin crust of snow in the yard. Beyond the low wall that surrounds the graveyard, the grounds fall away, and the village lies 400 feet below. The view is absolutely breathtaking. You do notice that the majority of the graves have been disturbed. All right. They continue to lead you along the path, eventually getting to a gatehouse that sort of connects it to more of the facility. Give me just a sec. Yes. Okay. So what you can't see here is that this leads inside, and then you can kind of go into this inner courtyard, and that is where they're gonna lead you. So hold on just a sec. Oh, here's the I guess the breathtaking view they were talking about. You can look out over the thing, and that's the inner area where they're trying to lead you. Yes, okay. So as you pass through that gate, there is a well. You guys are a large group, so there's no like being quiet here. So as you head in, you hear a voice whispering from the well. Anybody who has a passive perception lower than 15, you would not hear it, but if it is higher than 15, or 15 or higher, excuse me, you would hear it. And something in the well is beckoning to any who would come by. Here is the courtyard. The thick fog that fills the courtyard swirls as if eager to escape. The courtyard is surrounded by a 15-foot-high curtain wall on which stand several guards with their backs to you, or so it seems at first. Now that you're closer, these guards are merely scarecrows, dressed in rusted armor. Wooden doors to the north and east lead to the Abbey's two wings. And in the center of the courtyard is a stone well fitted with an iron winch to which a rope and bucket are attached. Along the perimeter, tucked under the overhanging wall, are several stone sheds with padlocked wooden doors, as well as 3 shallow alcoves that contain wooden troughs. 2 wooden posts pounded into the rocky earth have iron rings bolted to them, and chained to one of them is a short humanoid with a mishmash of animal parts. Alright. The creature looks up at you guys. Its wide, sort of chameleon-like eyes open and begin rotating in opposite directions, trying to take in whatever it is seeing. From the well, you hear...
Is someone there? Is someone visiting? Does someone need water? Please, come closer, that I might look upon you. Please.
Doesn't anybody go close to the well? I'm obligated to ask.
My DM guild contract says.
My passive perception's not high enough, so no.
Oh, okay.
Ignorance is bliss.
I would like to motion towards the scarecrows, and then motion towards the guy on the post, and say, with you being so short on personnel, I'm surprised you're not using this one.
Yes, well, Peter cannot be trusted. He tried to eat one of his fellows, you see. He is being punished by exposure and isolation. And, you could see that he is not well.
As you look at Peter, you see that he is emaciated beyond all relief, and that there is an obvious madness in his eyes. Occasionally he opens his overly wide mouth that has thick catfish-like lips to reveal rows and rows of pointed teeth. His body is riddled with lash marks, tufts of feathers, and the occasional scaly patches. He has a whip-thing rat tail that whips back and forth. He lets out a low, tired scream from that hideous mouth, and nearby there's many wooden sheds, and inside them you hear screams coming from inside those sheds as well. And then finally you hear an insect-like chitinous sort of trill come from the well. Siegfried says,
Well, to the abbot then.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
okay. Alright. So you are led to... let's see... Yeah. I guess I can put you guys down on the map now.
Do we have Psychic Whisper stuff up, Daniel?
We can if you want it.
And then is that you can talk to us, or is that we can talk to each other? I can never
No,
remember.
it's all. I'm the switchboard. I gotta relay everything.
Okay.
Which is why we need to set up a series of safe words and whatnot. Like, if we're gonna bawl, like shout pineapple or something. So
Okay,
it's clear.
okay. My safe word for this situation is shit's fucked, yo.
He
And
can
it
remember
means
that one.
okay, but what it means is that here at this abbey, shit's fucked, yo.
Simple.
I
Makes
think
sense.
I think I have all you guys. Roll call. I got Anna.
Yeah, I have the icon on. I wanted to make sure that it was.
I got Anna, Darius, Izzy, Esmeralda, Tiernan, Daniel, Dog, Irenia. Oh, I need the
Saluka.
2 revenants, right? Huh. How come they didn't drop out with everybody else? Let me go check. I specifically asked for all you guys to get over there. Let's see. All right. You. Oh, so Luca. Yeah, I probably don't want to forget her. Izzy. Did I say Izzy already? I don't think I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So where are your 2 revenants? Oh, that's right. They weren't dragged out onto the scene. Let me go grab them. Okay. So it is Sir Eric and Sir Arthund, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And did I give? I thought I gave you control of that, Gibby.
I didn't actually have control of Eric.
All right.
Yeah.
So you should have control of Eric now, and he does have vision enabled. Okay. So let me get him over there as well. Okay. All right. There we go. So, activate. All right. So this is representative of the weird chameleon guy. Listen, I got tired of making trying to make individual things, so I just took the most hideous result I got, and that was that. These are the sheds around the courtyard where you heard horrible screaming, and this is the well where you heard horrible insect-like trilling sounds. Look at that drop off. Can you guys see? I guess you can't see over the wall. Oh man, it's pretty. If you're afraid of heights, it's pretty nuts. Anywho, yeah, you guys stand before a door, and the let's see, Zigfrak seems to be mustering their courage before opening the door. As if they're kind of they're digging real deep,
Everything all right, Siegfried?
and they're like,
Aye, of course. It's just to bask in the presence of the
Of the
Abbey.
well
So
streams or
it's
what?
what?
Nothing.
okay. So as you guys prepare to go in, I have to add even more music. All right. Get this going. So as you guys approach the building, you also hear haunting violin music. Join the din of everything else. Because why not? It seems to be coming from the 2nd floor, and whoever's playing the music is a master of their art.
That's wonderful.
Yes, Zigfrak smiles proudly and says,
That would be Cloven. He is favored by the master. I hear. Let us head inside.
all right. So as heads in, you guys see a resplendent man. Let me plug his mini back in. Sometimes when they come out of cold storage, they aren't hooked up properly. So.
I'm okay with him being a generic NPC instead of whatever crazy
You're right, right.
Yeah.
All right, there he is. Those of you from the real world, this dude looks like if you went to an Eastern Orthodox or Catholic church in Europe, and they were like, "Can you please paint the Archangel Michael come to life?" Everything about him, there is an otherworldly beauty, radiance, and it is almost like the color that, you know, on him is oversaturated, like he's in Fable 1, and they turn the sat slider too high. It's like there's an inner, you know what I'm talking about. There's like an inner light inside this guy trying to escape. He seems to be vibing to the music and holding hands with a shapely young woman dressed in a wedding dress with full wedding veil. And she says, "Master, there is company. Am I permitted to speak?" And the abbot, without really moving his body much, still sort of staring into the fire and vibing to the music, he says, "But of course, my dear, but of course, you must practice your skills of socialization, for your life at court will require such skills. Let us greet them together." All right, you guys want to do anything before he greets the party, or just kind of seeing what happens?
Let's
Guess we're just gonna see.
Stops. There
Okay.
Let's enter the room.
All right, Siegfried says,
Begging your pardon, great lord. These are outsiders. Travelers, they say. They will seek an audience with you.
and then the abbot almost dismissively says, "Yes, Siegfried, you've done wonderful. Why don't you head upstairs? I know that you love the library. You may read one book as a reward for your great service." And Siegfried seems to almost vibrate with joy, like when you say the W word to a puppy, and they rush upstairs. All right, let me give you a little description of this room. Let me give you a little description. Gentle sounding music trickles from above, played on a single stringed instrument by some unknown master, who you now know as Cloven. The ground floor is one large 50-foot square with arched leaded glass windows. A cauldron sits on an iron rack above a fire in the hearth, while above the fireplace mantel hangs a golden disc engraved with a symbol of the sun. In one corner, a wooden staircase climbs to the upper level, while in another corner, a stone staircase descends into darkness. Several chairs surround a wooden table that stretches nearly the length of the room. The wooden dishware and gold candelabras are neatly arranged on the table, standing behind which is a young woman with alabaster skin, dressed in a wedding gown. Her auburn hair is neatly bundled so as not to touch her soft shoulders, and she seems lost in her own thoughts. The handsome man next to her is wearing brown monk's robes and wears a painted wooden holy symbol depicting the sun hanging from a chain around his neck. He moves with the grace of a living saint. And because Benios is so good to you, if you don't know what a golden sun looks like, boy's like, you don't need imagination here, folks. He got you covered.
You can leave that at the door.
Yeah. Also, if you're into, like I said, Eastern Orthodox, like aesthetics and, you know, like kind of creepy European Catholicism, he got a little shrine over here in the corner. So, yeah. My best friends growing up, their father was an Eastern Orthodox priest, so I'm a big fan. Not a religious guy, but I'm a big fan of their aesthetic and their whole vibe. It's very interesting. All right. The abbot looks at all of you and says, there are many of you. It seems that you understand that there is safety in numbers. A community can thrive where an individual is often left out in the cold. As if to say that, Lizard Boy Peter just cries in anguish as he hangs, exposed to the elements, starving to death. The smell coming from the cauldron is that of a meaty stew. And those of you who are into meaty stews and unusual ingredients, it smells pretty good. The abbot says, let us be polite. This is Vasilka, a young maiden destined for great things. She is undergoing her training as she waits for completion. Would you be so kind as to dine with us, that she might practice such art?
Certainly.
I know it is early in the day for breakfast, but you need not eat much. In fact, it would be prudent not to, for there is so little food and so many hungry mouths to feed. If it would not be strange, could we forego the food and play at mimicry?
That's just what I was going to recommend after saying that you're low on supplies.
Truly, you are a kind heart. Please, come in, and we will come to you, that you might introduce yourselves as though we were at Castle Court.
You said that she was practicing, yeah?
Alright, real quick. Tiernan, I'm gonna send you a message. I'm so sorry. Alright. This is you shouldn't have, listen, any player that's coming to my game with broken perception, you get the Eldritch Knowledge. Okay. So as you guys approach, Darius, I guess you know, well, you guys don't really have very courtly manners. But
By
Anna,
force of habit and his upbringing, he goes
Yeah.
to shake the abbot's hand.
Oh,
as he's
car
done.
salesman? You pull a car salesman? Okay.
His dad is a car salesman, so he's always told
Okay.
him you introduce yourself with a handshake and a smile.
Damn. So Anna, as a future queen, this is not going according to plan.
Darius, do as I've taught you.
So you reach out to shake the abbot's hand, and he looks at the outstretched hand, and he says, hand or wrist, sir?
Sorry, things are different here.
He shakes your hand. He says, it is a pleasure to meet you. I am the abbot. This is Vasilka. She does an awkward curtsy, like she's so nervous that she's gonna shit her pants. Like she is just a mess right now. And then as she does a curtsy, he nods to her, and she extends her hand, the back of her dainty hand, to you, Darius. And she says, my lord, I am Vasilka.
Darius. He's trying. The gears are turning. He's trying to remember. Lady Wagner's done this before.
Do you fist pounder?
No, no. He is.
he just
he is-
starts an elaborate secret handshake.
Yep. He goes back to what was back there, and he will kiss her hand.
Okay. Her flesh is cold. It has no warmth to it at all. As you do, she kind of breathes like, and then she withdraws her hand nervously.
And I will step off to the side.
The abbot says, "Perhaps we should have some attendants to help us with this. Yes? Yes. That is a good idea. Zigfrak, if you would not mind returning." And he doesn't raise his voice like any higher than he normally does, but you hear a scampering as Zigfrak comes back downstairs. And the abbot says, "We will be playing at dinner. Would you please attend us?" And Zigfrak says,
Playing at, sir.
and the abbot says, "We will be going through the motions of dinner. A formal one. Surely you can assist us in this task." And Zigfrak says,
Aye, sir. I'll do my best.
and then the abbot says, "This gentleman has already introduced himself. As the first to introduce himself, we can assume he is the leader of this company. So seat him at the head of the table." And Zigfrak says,
Aye, this way, my lord.
and they pull out a chair for you.
He does take a glance back at Anna.
She's giving you laser beams.
I'm actually gonna roll a wisdom save real quick.
Okay.
Hi, he'll take it. He goes.
Dang.
The highest and the lowest.
All right. With incredible confidence of a king, Darius goes and sits down. They push in the chair, and your faithful hound curls up on this side because it's closer to the fire. It does look longingly at the fire and the stew pot, but it seems to be well trained. You're starting to get the idea that this might have been a dog from Valakai that got loose or ran away during the conflict. Because it is one of those you know, in the movies when they find a dog but it's just the best trained dog in the whole world without any effort. It kind of has that vibe to it.
Kind of giving me the Baron's dogs that were super well trained.
Yeah, do have that vibe, but
Yeah.
you don't think it's the same in
Yeah.
either of the dogs that you met. Yeah. All right, and then Zigfrak waits in attendance for the next person to be seated.
Tiernan will do a little like bow. I'm Tiernan. It's a pleasure to meet you, Abbot and Vasilka.
The abbot says, "It is our pleasure, Tiernan. Do you have a surname that Vasilka should be using?"
Beckett.
She does a curtsy to you and says,
It is a pleasure to meet you, Sir Beckett.
and then she turns to the abbot, and the abbot says, "He did not provide a title. Sir is appropriate." And then she puts out her hand for the smooches.
I'll kiss her hand.
Okay. Her hand is cold, like a corpse. It smells, Tiernan, high perception, of formaldehyde and other chemicals that are used to preserve corpses. All right. Zigfrak says,
This way, Sir Beckett. Right this way. Would you prefer a seat by the fire?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Who presents themselves next?
Anna will listen to Daniel.
Okay.
All right. Daniel will take
The abbot says, pay close attention to this one, Jessica. They're mixing it up on you.
Yep. Daniel will take Anna's hand, step forward, and say, "This is Lady Anna of Barovia."
The abbot says, charmed. It is a pleasure to meet nobility in such a remote place.
It is wonderful to finally meet someone as renowned as you, Abbot.
He raises his hands in a placating gesture. I am nothing special. I am a servant of God. His will in this world. The last lingering rays of sunlight in his absence.
You do well if the stories are true.
Vasilka, nervously, very nervous since you're apparently a queen or some shit, goes into a curtsy, and she says, My lady, I am Vasilka. It is a pleasure to be in your presence.
Pleasure is all
And then
mine.
she looks over at the abbot, and he says, in Strahd von Zarovich's court, there are no strict gender rules. It is best that you present your hand to a lady. She may kiss it, or simply touch it. Vasilka nods and puts her hand out to you.
Anna touches it gently.
That's the traditional. See, that's because Anna's from like the olden times. That's how they did it. Yeah. All right, excellent. Siegfried says,
My lady, I shall seat you right here.
Thank you.
"'Tis a fine beast you have there.
She says, looking at the dog distractedly, and then she goes and pulls the chair out, and she says,
Here, my lady, by the
As-
fire.
As Anna walks by Darius, she drags her hand along his shoulders, and she makes sure that he sees her, and she takes her gaze from him to his dog,
oh man,
and then sits down next to him.
the dog lets out a nervous whine. Okay. Who presents themselves next? Page Daniel? Sir Daniel?
Actually, he's gonna introduce Izzy next.
Jeez, what a fucking boss. What an absolute champion. Oh my god. Wow. When you do that, Daniel, you see Izzy blush a little bit. Like, she didn't know Daniel had this in him. Like, oh my god.
I don't think anyone else
Oh.
knew he had this.
OOC, yep. OOC Tiernan, would I know it? What's Izzy's full name? Or is it just Izzy? I'm not sure if I knew that.
Oh, it's Alcaron is the last name.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm butchering that. I only took 4 years of Spanish, so.
All right. We will introduce Miss Izzy Alcaron.
Okay. The abbot says, truly a beauty, a seer in our midst. And he locks eyes with her, and Tiernan, looking over, it feels like for just a moment, Izzy sees unclouded as she stares at the abbot, and trembles. I mean, she grew up Catholic, so this is a rough situation. All right. Vasilka says, Miss Alcaron, it is a pleasure to meet you. And she does a curtsy and extends her hand. Izzy, remembering what Anna did, gently touches her hand and says, the pleasure is all mine. All right. And then Siegfried says,
This way. Take my hand, I'll guide you.
and the abbot says, she has no need. of your hand. And Siegfried pulls away.
Kieran
And
will cough a little bit and nudge the chair next to him as Siegfried
oh,
gets close.
okay. With surprising surety, that you've only seen Izzy have in her own apartment back home, she walks right to the chair, pulls it out herself, and sits down. She whispers to you, very low, knowing that you can hear it. She says, Tiernan, I can see everything.
Tiernan will... He'll smile like they're talking pleasantly, but he'll whisper back to her, be careful, she doesn't have a face yet.
Now, Tiernan, when you say that, your Peter Tingle notices a slight twitch from the abbot.
That's fine.
As if maybe he too has a Peter Tingle. Alright, Daniel, do you introduce anyone else? You have no shortage of sexy girls in your harem. Like,
Yeah, he'll turn back and like twitch his thumbs back. It's like, you coming?
oh, sure. Esmeralda strides up, and she does the Darius King fucking Dylan handshake on the abbot, and she says, I am Esmeralda de Avenir. I have heard of your legend and of your legendary library. I hope that dinner is good, and that we get off on the right foot, for I would very much like to beseech you for access to said library, for knowledge is very important to me. And the abbot smiles and says, of course, I love the forwardness, power, the authority. And then he turns to Vasilka and says, this is why you cannot rely on antiquated gender roles at court. You will always be surprised, and you should never be caught off guard in such a dangerous place as Castle Court. Vasilka says, Sir Esmeralda, it is a pleasure to meet you. And she curtsies. Esmeralda takes her hand, and Tiernan, you notice when she takes the hand, she stops like shit. Just from dead. Monster Hunter instincts, and then she delicately kisses her gloved hand. Careful not to leave a lipstick stain. And then she decides, she pushes past Siegfried, and she sits right next to Anna. Alright.
The ladies, Zaluka.
Zaluka looks at you like, I'm a lady now. Alright.
Within your tribe.
The abbot says, it is a pleasure to meet you, Lady Zaluka. And then she says, I am Zaluka Toranescu of the Northern Tribe. And he nods. And he says, your people are servants of the Lady of Night. By all accounts, I should call you enemy. But the Morning Lord teaches us patience, especially with our enemies. I trust you will bring no ill will into my humble home. And she says, this is my pack. As long as they are not in danger, you and yours are safe. And then he nods, and Vasilka says, Lady Toranescu, it is a pleasure to meet you. And she curtsies and she holds out her hand, and Zaluka just boop, like you boop in a baby's nose, like boops the top of her hand. Alright. I don't think she would want to be near the abbot, so sit over here. Alright. Then she can see the door, too. Oh, do you just have your knights like post up? Like per their training, they would assume that they're not supposed to join you guys for dinner. But Sir Eric Norenthal, you've been feeling a bit, brazen after hundreds and hundreds of years of this bullshit. So whatever you decide, I respect it.
That's you, Gibby.
Sorry.
No worries. I didn't really provide you with any roleplay guidelines for this guy. So basically, he is a second edition lawful good paladin who's been forced to be a revenant for more centuries than he can remember, and now none of that shit really matters. He just wants to kill the rock.
So all the courtly graces and stuff are gone.
Well, he has that hard coding. He's hard coded a second edition paladin, but he's definitely unhinged. You know what I'm saying? Like after centuries of just his soul being just recycled over and over and over and over again.
He'll just kind of, rigidly march up to Vasilka and the abbot and say, "It is good to see another so righteous in the ways of the Morning Lord. And an honor to see a lady." And he will, kind of bend down and, if she offers her hand, kiss it.
Oh, nice. Okay. So before you do, the abbot looks to you and says, a knight of Argynvostholt. I knew your master well. He was a great servant of good in these lands. I wept the day he died.
Lord Argynvost lives in our hearts as an example and paragon.
He looks at you just like this. Those of you with training and insight, that is not what the abbot thinks. But he allows this man his false beliefs and says, "As you say." Then Lady Vasilka says, "Sir, you did your full intro, right?"
Yeah,
So
yes. Sir Eric Norenthal of the Knights?
The Silver Knights of Argynvostholt.
The Silver Knights of Argynvostholt at your service.
Okay. She takes a curtsy and extends her hand afterwards. And then you do your dope-ass kneel-down kiss thing. Her breath speeds up, and like she kind of fans herself a little bit. Like this is very cool.
He does have a dope charisma. So.
Yeah, she does not seem. Here's the thing that you guys need to understand: they are not off-put by anything that they are seeing.
Yep.
Like obviously, right? They live in a madhouse, right? Like so. You could be a zombie. You could be it's mostly just zombies here. But yeah, they're just like whatever. Like burn scars,
Yeah, the fact that
horribly
they didn't outright
mutilated by
attack us
fights.
when we came in is interesting.
All right. The abbot says, "Will you be seated at the table, or will you stand guard for your charges, Sir Norenthal?"
If it is all the same to you, abbot, I shall stand guard, as will my squire, compatriot.
Well, he is much to your amusement, he has pledged himself to Lady Anna, Sir Arthun Borwin.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, which is highly unorthodox for your order, but again, the order's shattered. So if this horny little boy wants to be squire for a beautiful woman, I guess just let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's well known throughout the order that Sir Arthun Borwin was very shy around ladies, and he took the vows of celibacy that were completely optional. Such was his devotion to the order. All right.
And as I go to introduce Irenia, can I get a read on her?
Okay.
Like
Irenia has been waiting her whole life to meet the abbot.
All right.
And as she stands in the doorway, though, almost afraid to approach.
All right. Daniel will flash a smile to the abbot and take her hand if she's
Yeah.
willing.
She's almost in a
like-
daze, and she says,
He's so beautiful, but there is something broken inside of him.
I understand.
and much as
You'll,
we took her hand when she was in, in the waters or whatever, she lets you take her hand and lead her forward.
All right. You will
All right.
introduce Irina Kuliana, burgomaster's daughter of the village of Barovia.
All right. Let's see. Tiernan. Goddamn. Tiernan and Daniel. You notice that the abbot, when he really looks at her, his demeanor changes from sort of boredom, like I'm doing this to help my charge kind of thing, to genuine interest.
Junin cringes a little bit.
He looks at Irina and says, Miss Koliana, the Rose of the Valley, you are called. And she says, it is not my doing. It's just a nickname. Also, my father is not the burgomaster anymore. He died. It is my brother, Ismark, who is definitely a normal guy and the burgomaster all month with no interruptions of any kind. And he says, an unusual thing to tell a stranger, but I appreciate your candor. And Vasilka says,
Lady Koliana, it is a pleasure.
and she curtsies and she puts her hand out, and Irina takes her hand, pauses for a second at the feel, places a second hand on top of the first hand, and squeezes the hand with both hands. And then she kind of tells Siegfried, that chair, and Siegfried seats her. All right. Daniel.
Oh, and Daniel will finally introduce himself. I am Daniel Harwood, late of Castle Ravenloft, and he'll curtsy. And anyone who knows him knows he's being a little off here.
Yeah. The abbot says, of Castle Ravenloft. You are a servant of von Zarovich?
A guest for a while.
But a guest no longer?
No.
Would the
Nope,
Dark
no.
Lord call you friend?
No.
Hmm.
I don't think he calls many friend.
It is a bold claim to say that you are of Castle Ravenloft, then. If you are not
Lately.
truly. I see.
Yeah.
Alright, Vasilka curtsies and says,
Sir Harwood, it is a pleasure to meet you.
and extends a dainty hand.
Oh, he will kiss the hand.
Okay.
While attempting to, look up at her face like you do.
Okay. Give me a perception check real quick. Oh, I'm gonna message you real quick.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, the hand is deathly cold. Siegfried says,
This way, sir.
He'll say to himself, sir, I get used to that.
as you approach, Zaluka she pats the chair next to her with an eager look on her face. Like, this is fun. I never get to sit at a table. Like, let's do this thing.
He will bow to her, milady.
She says, "Sir," and then has a big, like, shit-eating grin on her face.
Oh, you guys are laying off thick.
Zaluka turns to you and very loudly says, "Sir Harwood, you do me a great honor to sit next to such a dainty maiden such as myself."
Well, I am quite honored to be here with all of you. It's been so long since we've been able to sit down and have a fancy meal together.
Okay. The abbot moves and pulls out the chair for Vasilka, and she sits. And then he sits here at the head of the table. And Vasilka says, But you do not normally sit at the head of the table." And he says, "It is true, because I am no better than anyone else. But for this exercise, I will represent the Dark Lord, as if you were seated at his table." And she says, "I understand. Thank you." Alright, so Zigfrak is just putting empty bowls and spoons down. No fancy silverware or anything. And wooden cups. Then they go back around for lap 2, and they do pour you some well water. So, I mean, that's up to you if you want to drink that well water. And then they go around pretending to ladle invisible soup into everyone's bowls. Alright. While that's happening...
When Siegfried gets kind of past Darius, she had said earlier that it looked like she had been proud of Cyrus, so Darius will just kind of mention, "You do Cyrus proud. He was also waiting at the table while we were meeting with the Dark Lord."
"Oh, sir, you bring kindness to this old woman's heart. You can have seconds."
And she pretends to ladle a second scoop into your bowl.
I'll just give her a nod.
Okay. Once everybody has settled, the abbot says, "Well, outsiders, I assume this company has a name."
It's a bit grim, but it's kind of been our experience so far in these lands. We're called the Walking Dead.
There is nothing grim about life obstinately marching forward. Death is a transition to something new. It is never the end. Only oblivion can free you from that. Please, elucidate for us some of your adventures. Such stories always bring a smile to those at court. And Vasilka has had access to a fine library, but to hear such a tale told would be a new experience. Vasilka turns eagerly. She never removes the thick veil covering her face. But Kiernan and Daniel, you guys notice that now that they're sitting down, Irenia and Vasilka are the same exact height and body type. Except Vasilka got a little bit more, booty and top. But for the most part, they could be sisters. And their hair is the same, like, sort of color and thickness.
Yes, Darius, why don't you tell us the stories of our adventures?
Nice. Oh yeah, everyone turns. Izzy's kind of in sensory overload right now, so she just sort of looks over at you and sort of like she's stoned, Darius, just like she can't process everything, and she kind of cocks her head, and she says, "You do look like him." And then Zaluka says, "Yes, tell us a story, Sir King."
There's a vein that bulges on Darius's forehead.
Don't worry. You feel one paw on your thigh, offering moral support.
My moral support beast.
It looks up into your eyes like, you can do this.
Alright. Well, I'm not even gonna attempt to roll anything to make this flattery or anything like that. Darius just recounts.
Yeah, you don't have to recount it. You can just say which story comes to mind. Like, what story would you want to tell?
Ooh.
And what would be the intent of telling that particular story?
I think he's gonna go with the story of fighting against the faithless. The whole kind of journey that we had to kind of navigate to get information about the first the winery, then getting information about them by the tribe up to the north, learning about, them bringing the tree to life, then us rallying forces, them going to defend Valakai while we go to strike at the heart of the faithless. And then once we strike the Gulfire's tree dead, we went searching for their leader to make sure that they would no longer plague this land. And we successfully did so.
Okay.
But it's all more matter of fact. There's no embellishments on any of this.
Once you start the story, Dog removes their paw and kind of curls up and stares over at the fire. Go ahead and give us a performance check so that we get a general sense of how this was delivered to the abbot and Vasilka. Because even a boring report can still be interesting if delivered well.
I'll burn one of my inspirations.
Dang, all right.
With a -4 modifier.
Honestly, better than I think anyone expected. Thanks to an inspiration. Okay, the abbot listens, and since this is just an exercise, he says, "This is a great example. Sometimes people will have very interesting lives, very exciting careers, but when they try to tell you about it, it can be very boring. An important skill at court is to be respectful of such moments. Feign interest if needed, and always be attentive and polite." Vasilka nods, and she says, "Why, Sir King, why did the druids... Why did they want to destroy Valakai?" Are druids not protectors of the land? I read in books that they were.
Some people can take certain things and twist them to suit their needs. They may view it as protecting the land, and they may view the people who settled here as invaders on said land. And what bigger invaders than the largest town in the region?
Okay. She nods. And she says, "I understand." Tiernan, she doesn't understand. All right. The abbot says, would you be willing to share another story with us? Any of you?
I think I'll pass the baton to Anna.
He says, you're second. Yes.
Oh,
Lady Anna of Barovia, surely you have many stories to tell.
Unfortunately, Abbott, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I think Darius would be best at being able to explain anything. Much better than I right now.
As you say.
Darius versus
If you-
Anna, dinner table round 2.
Okay.
Sorry.
Irenia says, but Anna, you tell the most beautiful stories. You could make us sound a little bit cooler, you know? Like, it kind of just sounded like a book report.
I think Darius is doing a wonderful job.
Do you
Aren't you,
really?
Darius?
I mean, he did okay. I'd give it like a 12 out of 20 maybe, but I wouldn't say it was great.
Irenia, you've wanted to come see the Abbot so many times. You talk about him constantly. Wouldn't you like to ask him questions?
Yeah, yes, of course. Abbott, Mr. Abbott, Father Abbott.
He says, you may simply refer to me as the Abbot. For, sadly, I am the only one at this time. And she says,
Of course. Is it true that you can cure any ailment or malady with the Morning Lord's light?
and he pauses, and he says, it is true, yes. And she says,
Like anything?
and he says, all power has limits. But, yes, I have been known to perform miracles on behalf of the Morning Lord, as he sees fit. But I prefer to work with my hands. And as he says that, Zigfrak Bellevue kind of scrunches in on themselves, as if suffering from some really bad PTSD. There is something more earthly about solving problems with your hands. And as he says that, his hands, which were neatly folded on the table in front of him without the elbows touching the table, twitch a bit. And she says,
Well,
and then she kind of looks over at Anna and the rest of the group, and you guys can see that restored wisdom score kind of kicking in, and she doesn't blurt out all the problems that everyone has that she knows of in her entire life. She says,
that is good information to have. Thank you.
and she is quiet.
I think one of the things that Irenia here is worried about. When we first came to Barovia, her village was plagued by the threat of zombies. We learned that the waters there were tainted. Somehow a zombie got in there. We got rid of it and boarded up the water system, but that doesn't solve the problem. I think that's still on her mind on how to save her village.
She looks at you, she shakes her head. That's not what she was thinking.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
The abbot says, that is a pity. Eastern Barovia is plagued with troubles. They are not blessed like the people of Kresik. living in the shadow of the Morning Lord's great power and glory. Blessed are the spirits of ancient saints who, in their devotion, made the final sacrifice to ensure a better future. Vasilka says, I like to look at Krezk from the walls. Perhaps someday I can visit it from the castle. And the abbot turns to her and says, yes. I don't see why not.
How often do you get news of what goes on outside
News.
of the Abbey?
He says, I am granted visions of anything important the Morning Lord feels I must be made aware of. Beyond that, I mostly stay here, tending to my flock and working on my projects. As he says that, Tiernan and Daniel, now that you've noticed, his hands twitch when he says projects.
You
Occasionally,
guys creeping me out.
occasionally Strahd von Zarovich will visit, and we will discuss the state of the realm, religion, history, cosmology. They are good talks.
When was the last time that happened? Because some things have changed in Valakai.
He says, I don't believe the Dark Lord has visited in some time. When last he came, it was to make confession. He is a troubled man. The burdens of rulership weigh heavy. But I have gleaned insights that have put me to work on a new project. As he says project, you see his hands twitch again.
Would you be able to enlighten us as to what that new project may be?
Well, and he smiles for the first time. And when somebody this beautiful smiles, honestly, it's a bit nerve-wracking. Perfect teeth, perfectly placed, none missing, not a single cavity or charter to be found. A pearlescent smile that almost has a glow behind the teeth. And the first genuine smile that you have seen, 32 perception, 18 insight, Tiernan. It's the first genuine smile. Like, this guy liked to talk about his projects. Anna, he looks at you like you're the only person in the room. And as he does, and you lock eyes with him, you feel the whispers, the constant doubts, the backseat driving, your own inner doubts. It all quiets. And he says, yes. Well, you are a part of that project right now. And he turns and he looks at Vasilka the way a proud father would look at his daughter, or a proud sculptor would look at their masterpiece.
Well, that seems like a weird comparison to make, Crash.
The last part of that comment was,
Yeah. Vasilka sort of shrinks under everyone's gaze, especially the abbots, and he says, my many talks with the Dark Lord have revealed to me a tremendous loneliness at his core. He seeks a partner, unrivaled. His ways are well known, his polyamorous marriages, his affairs, his experimentation. But none bring him satisfaction, none bring him peace. And you can definitely tell there's a capital P there on peace. And he says, I aim to change that. I have communed with the heaven. I have sought inner wisdom. I have studied the histories and the man. And I am creating for him the perfect partner. Once she is complete, I will deliver her to Castle Ravenloft personally, and even offer to officiate their marriage. Once bound in wedlock to a partner worthy of his greatness, he will find the peace that has eluded him. And I will break his curse and free these lands, as I was charged to do so long ago. And there is a sorrow in his voice when he says, charged to do so long ago. Like, this thing is tired. Imagine Mr. Meeseeks, you know what I'm saying? This is a Mr. Meeseeks situation. And then he says, he sort of waits for questions, you know, like a lecturer. Like, I've presented some very interesting material, class. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions?
How far away do you think your project is from completion?
An excellent question, and I will confess, I have found myself stymied after so much progress. It is the nature of these things to try again and again and again. But I finally found material worthy of the project. But they were incomplete. I have a vision of what I need, and it has eluded me outside of dreams. And then he turns, and he looks right at Irenia, and he says, until now. Irenia turns and looks slowly behind her. And she says, Easy, do you have something that he needs?
Tiernan's hand is on his dagger in his axe.
That wisdom seems to have gone.
Hey, bro, it went from a 6 to a 10, okay? That's a huge increase. The abbot smiles and says, Vasilka will require more training. She is beautiful. She is both motherly and maidenly in her form.
But there is one detail I could never get right. Poor Vasilka needs a face. And I would very much like that face to be yours, Miss Kolyana. Would you be willing to make that sacrifice for the good of the realm, to help me realize my vision and complete my works? And she says, oh, you just want to draw my face? I'm very flattered. I think I have very big eyebrows, so it's always kind of nice when someone's like, you're very pretty. And I mean, I'm very flattered. Sure, I guess, if you just need me to pose or something, or I don't know how you mean face, like, exactly. I assume she's some magic stuff. And he says, no, I need your actual face. I would surgically remove it and then sew it on to Vasilka. I have plenty of extra faces laying around. I could give you one to replace yours. And she stares down at her empty bowl, and it looks like she's going to throw up in her empty bowl of imaginary soup. And the abbot says, if it's a matter of compensation, I would be willing to work great miracles in exchange. For yours is a face like no other. It is the face of my visions and my dreams. I will accept no other. The project demands it. My charge is to save these lands. Please, help me.
Darius will look at
And
Tyrion.
I will be at your mercy. All right, Darius.
So,
Tiernan?
with the perception and the insight that I have,
Yeah.
am I aware of Strahd's intentions in this?
Strahd's intentions? I mean, you got no clue. He said that he talked to Strahd a lot. Strahd came for confession, whatever that means.
Towards Irenian.
Okay, so in this moment, when all these context clues are dropping, would your player character be able to access, like, the deduction skills of you, the player? I would say that
Right.
you built a character with the appropriate insight and perception, and you've got a decent intelligence for a 5th edition character, right? And a very high wisdom. So yes, I would say that you, in that moment, it's like in the movies when a character has flashbacks of every clip in the movie that reinforces, wait a second, hold up, and you get the sense that not only is Van Holtz super duper into Irenian, which that was pretty obvious. But so is Strahd. Strahd, his eyes would always shift to her during dinner. His eyes would always study her. Whenever there was a lapse in conversation or anything, his gaze would be drawn to her.
Abbott, you say you need this to save the land, to free him from his curse, and to do so with the will of the Morning Lord, correct?
He says, yes.
taking, willingly or not, Irena's face for Vasilka, it would have the opposite of that impact. Strahd, I feel like I actually do just say the name.
Well, at
he
this
has-
point, he said the name enough that
It's
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
times.
He has a special interest in her in particular, and I think any
He
harm.
wheels around in their chair and she says, "Tyrlin, what are you talking about?"
I think any harm that came to her would result in a severing of all of your ties with him, and I don't think that's what you need.
Does anybody else chime in on this, or?
I'm gonna let him handle this.
All right. The abbot is like a statue as he stares at you. And he says, you would presume to know more of the Dark Lord's wants and desires than I? More of his motivations?
You said yourself you haven't seen him in some time, and I've seen him in her presence.
I see.
I mean,
If-
we had dinner with the dude, like, what, less than a month ago?
If his removal is what you seek, we're allies of circumstance. That's our goal as well. We have some thoughts on that idea, and we'd be happy to collaborate. But I don't think this is. I think this will just make him more of your enemy.
If he truly desired this woman, if he truly coveted her, he would have taken her from you by now.
I think
If she was the missing piece, if she was the end to this curse, he would not have been able to resist her.
I think you know him.
I do. And
think
I have
he's
seen it
favored.
play out many times.
Then you know he savors the chase.
If she is the one, then she is the curse. I work around the curse. I find a solution that is sustainable. As he says sustainable, his hands twitch. If she is who you claim, if she is who I suspect, then only death and pain and ruin await her, and any who call her friend or ally. You would still have a life, and I would have a means to satiate the hunger of the Dark Lord's carnal ambitions, a way to solve the wound of his loneliness in a way that would change the script, that would break the cycle. I do not expect mortal men and women to understand my great project. I hope you could have faith that I am working the Morning Lord's will in the benefit of all.
Do I know enough compared with what I know and knowing about the pool and everything? Do I know enough to know that Strahd wants the soul and not the body?
I would say that is probably not a far-fetched guess, given the whole reincarnation cycle and whatnot.
Okay. It's sending off your project, your masterwork, to be a grand sacrifice. It's not the body that Strahd desires. It's the soul, this thing that he has been denied and that he's been chasing. That's not something that you can provide. Oh, help us rid this place of him permanently, and return the sun and hope and love and everything that this land has been missing. But stealing a face isn't going to do it.
All right. The Abbot, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler, is completely insane. To be convinced that his greatest work is just not going to happen is like a DC 30.
Oh yeah, it's impossible. I absolutely understand
I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, it's not possible. Like,
with
in some campaigns, an eloquence bard with best gear, rolling real high with a bardic inspiration.
With what we're working with, it's
yeah.
For the record, Daniel can hit that.
You can hit a 30? Holy shit.
Persuasion expertise plus a psychic die if it hits.
Plus,
that's like,
you have the
that,
plus you have the faxpiration.
Yeah, that's a high roll though.
Holy shit. I mean, raw, the adventure doesn't give you a chance, but
yeah,
the general consensus among people is a high enough persuasion should be able to at least sow some doubt. So if you want to go for it, you can, but
I mean, I'll make the check. It'll absolutely fail.
Oh no, I'm saying like you could 18 wisdom, sit on this for a second, consult with your allies, and be like, maybe there's a way we can do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking you for the check, right? Because he doesn't want it, right? He doesn't want you to make the check. So I'm not asking you for the check. I'm not prompting you to make the check. Like he is firmly set in his beliefs. But your takeaway from the conversation is meta, that it would be a nearly impossible task to dissuade him. And it could be the insanity. It could also just be that he is like a godlike being, and you guys are just, no offense, but you're little ants. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I don't let an ant tell me how to have my picnic. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I mean,
or
if you
I guess you wouldn't be
having...
ants. You would be like sheep that require care.
If you move where you're having your picnic because there's ants, isn't that letting the ants tell you where to have
for sure. So his gaze remains fixed on Tiernan. Tiernan, as you lock eyes with him, you realize, maybe this conversation was so charged, but you do realize that as you were speaking to him, those old pains, those like phantom burns, those damaged nerves from so long ago, you are feeling, maybe for the first time ever, like true relief from those injuries.
Oof.
There's no question that this being is extremely divine. And perhaps not even in full control of its powers anymore. Right. The abbot says, I will not press the issue. I see what I need before me. And I feel that Miss Koliana perhaps needs some time to think about my request. It would be unfortunate to take her by force. So, I shall leave you here to discuss, and I will return in an hour's time. Perhaps then you will have made your decision. And as he goes to get out of the chair, Siegfried goes over to pull the chair, and the abbot motions them away and gets up. They pull the chair out for Vasilka. And then she says, it was very nice to meet everyone. I had a wonderful meal. The food was delicious, and the conversation was stimulating.
You're not wrong there.
And then they head upstairs. Unless you guys stop them from going upstairs. And almost as an afterthought, as he goes upstairs, his hand twitches again, and the door closes. Which I guess the door would have been closed. They would have closed the door the whole fucking time, honestly. But like, they wouldn't have had the fucking cold air coming in this whole time. All right.
So do y'all regret coming here today now?
When you say Siegfried, she jumps and she says, "Hey!" Huh?
Why were you so nervous to come in here?
And she kind of looks up at the ceiling.
The master, yes, some eccentricities that can be mercurial and capricious like. It's hard.
What happens here? What's in the sheds? What's in the well?
I must attend to business elsewhere.
Siegfried, we can help.
Sorry. None can help us. None can help the damned.
And she starts hastening towards the door.
Anna uses, before Siegfried leaves,
Oh, okay.
Anna would stand up and say, Siegfried, we can help you, and charm her.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and give me your DC. All right. There we go. Okay.
When you guys hear this, you hear Anna's voice, but you also hear something behind it.
She stops and she looks over at Anna as if Anna is a trusted friend. And she says,
He could do that for us, milady.
She would motion for Sir Eric and Sir Arthur to kind of come closer. Say yes.
oh, whoops. Well, that's up to Sir Eric, but Sir Arthur is there. He's there for it.
Says yes. If you talk to these people, they have ideas on how to help everyone in Barovia. Don't you all? And these people are part of Barovia, aren't they?
Irina looks around. Who's she
We
talking
do.
about? Is she talking about us? Well, listen, guys, he's just a face, you know? Like, it's pretty horrifying, but as long as he does a good job putting the new one on, and the new one's not,
You're
super
fucking kidding,
gross.
right?
Here's an example of some of his finest work. She says, I mean, well, it seems like a pretty good plan. Maybe. I mean, I can confirm that he, the Dark Lord, is very lonely, and he's very obsessed with these women that share the soul of Tatiana.
Your soul.
I mean, yeah, I suppose, yeah, it's my soul. Hey, listen, a face versus a soul, I feel like that's not too bad. Do you think it would hurt, though? As if to accentuate this, you hear screams off in the distance of the constant, endless pain that the beings trapped here at the Abbey are still undergoing.
You're not from our world, where we would have things like, I don't know, sleeping gas for medical procedures. People who are
Face
actually
transplants.
specialized and stuff like that.
Face transplants in our world are extraordinarily dangerous.
Yeah.
Siegfried says, none are given the sleep of medicine or spell when the Abbey does his works. He believes that their consciousness is a necessary part of the process.
And you see the cat eye shed one tear into her furry face.
Irina, I don't notice it very often because it's been with me for so long. But when he looked at me, the pain from the nerve damage from these burns on my face, it went away. And the pain that you would most likely constantly be in from having your entire face removed and replaced would be much worse than that. And that's not something I would wish on anyone.
As you are telling her this and she's listening, you guys all notice that Izzy is quietly crying. And she turns to you, Tiernan and Anna, because she knows you're in this general location, and she says, "It's gone. I can see again. And now it's gone. It's just shapes and forms. You were all so beautiful. I'm glad I got to see your faces. And I won't forget them."
Tiernan will pull her in for a hug, and she'll say, it means that we know it's possible here. It doesn't have to be over.
And Izzy has a total breakdown. Having grown up like Catholic, and then you see this like saint-like being, and then it performs a miracle, but the entity is broken, and like that seems to be the whole theme of Gothic horror, is that anything good is in some way wrong or broken, and it's just too much for her. And she just breaks down.
Yeah, that's why I sent Dog over there.
Yeah. So she loses ball rested as stress starts to overtake her.
Look, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but I would say no deal, Irenia.
Yep. Daniel will say to Irenia in kind of a shaky voice, it doesn't matter what face you have. It's you he wants. It's always going to be you. What the abbot suggests, it's not going to work. Because it's not what he wants.
She looks over at Tiernan, and she looks like she's gonna throw up from the words she's about to say. But she says, What if I just went to him? Maybe he would let you all go."
And he touches the plant-like scar on his chest through his clothes. He says, "I don't think I can."
And Daniel will feel at the phantom pain of 2 gunshot wounds that she healed and says, "You're the one thing we can't let him have. Because you're one of the last good things here." Yo.
Esmeralda cuts in and says, "Also, we firmly established that any time he does try to get you, you die horribly, so he just gets super pissed off afterwards. Not that I had considered ways that we could leverage you in the bargaining with him, but I'm struggling to see how it would work. There has to be a way around this, and as crazy is what that entity was saying is, my heart breaks for it because I understand the intent, but it is a fool's errand. Do you think that the Dark Lord is the sort of man who would be flattered to receive a sex golem?"
A mannequin? That looks like Irenia.
I shudder to think at the consequences of any of this playing out to completion. And Zalika says, "There are many of us in our pack now. We are already here. I say we put the creature out of its misery. All of them."
Siegfried, what do your people want?
She says,
those with minds still intact just want a place where we can be warm and fed, away from those that might do us harm for our appearances, for the crimes of our ancestors. But most want only one thing: release from their suffering.
Would you be able to gather those that just want a safe haven? If we do end up trying to free him, I don't want you caught in the crossfire.
What you speak is blasphemy and suicide.
What we
You
seek
don't
is the
need
release.
to do all this for me or mine. Our ancestors committed terrible crimes, and and we still pay the price. It is our penance, the penance for our bloodline. We help the abbot in his works, and in that way we help the Morning Lord. We wouldn't want it any other way.
No mortal was meant to last as long as he has. It's not
He is no mortal.
It's not his fault.
Her eyes are wild.
She says, make no mistake. That is no man.
But it was.
No. I don't think it ever was.
And Esmeralda says, it spoke of being tasked. I believe it is an otherworldly being that was summoned here by someone, given a job to do, and was unable to complete that task.
And
Even at the duration of its summoning's end, it was unable to return home. And it has languished here ever since.
And it got trapped in this prison just like the rest of us. Just it's been here, this inmate's been here for a lot longer.
Extraplanar creatures are not meant to stay in the prime material for an extended period of time. They are the manifestation of their home planes. To be severed from that connection nearly always drives them mad. Whatever that thing was, it is no longer servants of good. Ugh. And then she goes to like collect herself in the corner, sitting down on this old wooden bench, because she seems to be kind of shook by the fact that even something like the abbot could be brought low by this place, and she willingly came here.
What do you know about entities like that? What can we do? Do they have any weaknesses?
Okay. She says, I do not know much, for I don't know exactly what the nature of it is, but I know that as an otherworldly being, it is unlikely that it will be harmed by physical weapons. Magic is the only thing that will see us through. Creatures from the upper planes, which is to say places people would consider heavenly in nature, they are often possessed of the abilities to heal and to smite. Smiting is quite painful. She rubs like an old wound, thinking about some vampire blackguards she went up against years ago. But here in this 5th age of magic, where fucking paladins just wreck you, just fucking hit you like a fucking dump truck. And she says, it is unlikely that this is his true form. When threatened, he might reveal himself to be something so alien and otherworldly that, well, it could be hard for us to comprehend what we are seeing.
So, this sounds like we're talking about like biblical angel, not like fucking cartoon angels that we don't really see.
I don't know. Biblical angels are normally just like a bunch of eyes and wings sort of smushed together. I don't.
I don't know. I can show you that shit.
Zulika says, the more eyes he has, the easier he can see me destroy him. And she flashes you a confident smile with lots of sharp teeth. But not seeing a similar response and seeing how wrecked Izzy is and how concerned Esmeralda is, she looks over at Esmeralda and says, "You are afraid. And your fear fills me with fear." And then she sort of looks up at the ceiling of the room where the music's coming from, and her nose twitches and sniffs the air. And she says, "What do you think, Lady Anna of Barovia? Perhaps discretion?" And when she says the word discretion, you could tell that, first of all, it's a word she never uses. And secondly, it has an odd taste in her mouth.
So, ever since the whole revelation that got brought up here, Anna's had some issues go through her head. Daniel would definitely pick up on some rage very first thing, and then it gets pushed down. The rage was targeted towards Vasilka.
Interesting.
And now there's some concern towards Irene.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, Anna, without getting too into the details, Mr. Dirts was your lover, but was he your lover by choice, or was he your lover because he was a person of power and authority in your life and you really didn't have a lot of choice, kind of thing, right? So there's that aspect of it, right? Of like, how many Irenias have just been taken by Strahd, away from their lives, away from their families, away from their fiancés, away from their own dreams and goals, and at no point asked what did they want, what did they want out of life, kind of thing.
I don't think we have the means to fight him right now.
I'm not sure we'll be given a choice. If we don't want to, we need to try to leave right now.
So, what's her name? Zigfrag? Is there any other way out of this castle?
No, you could jump out the window, and then try to make your way down the cliffside. It's 400 feet, my friend.
And they tentatively reach out to grab your arm because they're so concerned about you, because you're a very important friend. All right, he's giving you guys an hour to kind of discuss. I'm going to say that all this discussion has probably been about 30 minutes, we'll say. So you guys had your fake dinner, and now it's about 9:30 in the morning. No one should be this stressed at 9:30 in the morning.
Mondays, am I right?
Oh my God, is it? Yeah, we got time. Okay, the Saturday game and the Sunday game are just mixing up my my schedule. Yeah, we have time. Okay, I was like, oh my God, it can't be time already. Oh no, we got time. We got time to sort this out.
I do need to leave at 1 today. I've got
a
house I'm going to go look at. But...
I have a house full of kids having a Magic the Gathering birthday party, so I have to
awesome.
I have to go feed them at 1 o'clock. So, all right, Zaluka will look to Daniel, and she will just leap over the table with her werewolf leap ability. She will land neatly next to him, and she will put an arm around Daniel, and she will say, "Do not worry. Sir Harwood can just explain in a beautiful way that we definitely are interested, but not yet, and give him something else to think about. Eh?
Hard gulp.
It's worth if if we can't sneak out, it's worth a try at least.
Okay. I mean, Ez looks out the window and she's like, I mean, the gate is right there. We don't have to go down a cliff.
Are these like windows or are these like
Yeah, they're
erode?
leaded. They're beautiful stained glass leaded windows depicting religious scenes about the Morning
Okay.
Lord.
So either because of the age of the building, they are not movable, or because there's wood burning fire, they are openable. So which is it? Do we have to bust the Morning Lord window to get out?
Yeah, the room has a very high ceiling, and it does seem like the any smoke that isn't going up the chimney just sort of collects in the rafters. So the windows are nice and tightly sealed. This is a very cold place. They do have that sort of warped look of like old glass, you know, where it starts to kind of pool towards the bottom of each pane. Yeah.
He will chase us.
He will, or at least he'll send people after us. People like Siegfried, most likely.
All right. Izzy kind of is collecting herself, and she says, "Okay, but hear me out. So, my grandma, she's got dementia, and everybody's still undecided, right, about what's the best thing to do. Do you constantly remind them that they're wrong, that they're confused, or do you just lean into their fantasy, right? Do you just tell them, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's your birthday, right? I'm here for your birthday, and I'm your sister, and yeah, it's great. You're gonna be 14 today," or do you say, "No, Grandma, you're not 14. I'm not your sister. It's not your birthday. You live at an old folks' home, and your life sucks." He says, if we join the narrative, maybe we can control the narrative. And she looks around,
Or at least
not
steer
really
it.
seeing you guys, but like kind of, you know, seeing your outlines.
So something like we say we'll do it, but she'd like to see her brother while she's wearing her own face again first, and then we'll come back, or it might work. I'm afraid that if we run away,
That's a new
He'll
target
just-
on our back.
and he'll just send relative innocents like Siegfried after us, and we'll just have to kill more and more of them. And all they're trying to do is serve the only manifestation of a good deity that exists in this place. Doesn't seem like they deserve to die for that.
Why don't we just tell Strahd?
Oh shit.
Tell him that he wants to cut her face off to appease him. And I don't think that he would appreciate that very much. And then let Strahd deal with it. Anna says out loud, Strahd, I need you. Come see me when you're able.
Sorry,
I'm
what now?
afraid
Looks at Anna.
that he won't let her go again.
Rod won't let her go?
I'm afraid that he won't let her go again.
Cross that bridge if we need to.
We're not ready for the Abbey. We're not ready for him.
We can't beat Strahd Tiernan.
Not yet.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Time out. You just called out to him, asking him to actually be here.
He will listen to me.
How sure are you on that one?
100%. We should leave. Anna looks at Daniel and says, keep going.
Nah.
Darius is going to test the door.
Ooh.
Tiernan
looks
walks over, looking at Darius, but picks up a chair.
Anna would look at Zigfrak and say, when he comes down, stall him as long as you can. But don't endanger yourself.
Okay.
Sir Arthur and Sir Eric, we're leaving.
Okay. So, as you guys begin heading out, you would recall that the path out is this way. Oops, don't need that one. All right. As you open the doors, Peter the Lizard starts screaming loudly.
Do you wish me to silence this one?
Pick up those feet, people.
Do your best, Sir Eric, but do not lag behind.
Let's see, Peter.
All right, I'll unpause the map.
Great
Sorry.
if we had the
Yeah.
silence spell right now. You know, we could just cast it over here. We could crash through the window.
Yeah, it would be perfect. Yeah. Darius should start making his way out. You'll tell
We going
Dog
fast?
to
We going sneaky? Feel like that's probably important.
Probably should just leave it haste.
Yeah.
Tiernan, with your incredible perception, you see the second story window. Someone staring down at you.
Yeah.
They disappear from the window.
Just meet his eye
And-
and keep going.
The second story
Faster.
doors open to the balcony, and the abbot comes out onto the balcony. And he says, "Where exactly are you going? Have you made your decision yet?" He looks down at all of you, waiting for an answer. Irenia seems frozen in the spot, staring up at him.
Tiernan will come over and grab her hand and say, I think it's quite obvious that we have, and then start pulling her away as fast as he can.
I'm very
Just
sorry,
inclined to
but
acquiesce to your request.
don't you understand the project? Don't you understand what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to save this world. Please, do not force my hand. And when he says that, his hands start to glow with a golden light.
Out of curiosity, which side of the Revenant argument does Eric fall?
The Revenant argument?
On Strahd. Like, keep him, end him or keep him miserable?
Oh no, I mean he remembers his original vows to protect this land and to punish Strahd by also punishing the people of the land is fucking petty. Like, this guy ain't Oath of Vengeance, you know what I'm saying? Oath of Vengeance is powered by pettiness, as far as these guys are concerned. These were OG devotion, right? Like, we are here to protect the innocent and the weak, that kind of thing. And in this case, I guess if there's any of that left inside Sir Eric, that would trigger. Like, this is a young woman, early 20s. She's fucking overwhelmed. She's scared. There's a lot of powerful people after her, and now this guy that she really respected is added to the list of dudes that just want her for something. And he is,
I think he would probably do the glare on the abbot then.
Oh shit! All right.
I mean, I know there's no way it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
But
You gotta get close. You'd have to stride up to him because he's 20 feet up on the.
I think what he'll do then is he will draw his, I guess not his bow, even though he's an archer, but and he will step in front of Irenia and say, "You will not have her. Go."
I know you an NPC, Sir Eric, but go ahead, take a DM inspiration, bro. Damn.
See, Sir Arthur, that's how you become a hero.
And he looks over and he says, "My lady, I will go and stand against him and give you time to escape."
You know, that's not a bad idea. Go, Sir Arthur.
I haven't even updated my notes yet, but I guess that question's off.
All right, he moves into a good position. At least he thinks it's a good position. He readies his bow, and the abbot says, "I see. You would threaten me with violence in the Morning Lord's house." And it tries to make a saving throw against your effect. It is a magical effect, I'm assuming. Let's see. There's no tags on abilities, so how do we know for sure? I would assume that a creature brought back to life, empowered by vengeance and divinity, is probably using magic versus an extraordinary ability. So, with magic resistance, we will roll 25. And you feel, Sir Eric, the unshakable will of this entity push back against you. And here's the thing, guys. If you want to sacrifice your two brand new allies, they will keep the abbot busy long enough for you guys to escape. But it would need to be an active choice on your part that you're like, these two that we said we were going to babysit and take care of, we let them go. Because he will absolutely dismantle them. So, here we go. We'll do it. We'll do the poll.
That's probably wise, because if you leave it to Anna, you don't want that.
Alright, so Revenant, Fate. Oh, keep in mind, I mean, they're Revenants, right? So they'll definitely come back. They'll come back, ... right?
Maybe. If this guy doesn't purify the shit out of them.
Yeah, give him the final death.
These are the. So sacrifice and escape, stand with them, have some run away, Irenia and a few guardians. I'm deeply curious what you guys decide. All right. Gibby, why don't you lay some of that second edition Paladin that you love so much on us, that we can listen to as we are running for our lives down the mountain.
Sir Arthur, to me, Abbot, I may not be able to grant you the peace you deserve, but I will do my best to give you the death that this land needs.
Damn. All right. You guys hear his commanding voice carry in the wind, and you hear the abbot's cool response. Not cool like he's a cool kid, but you know, and like it's icy response. There we go. And he says, here in Barovia, death is not an escape. Death is not rest. Only oblivion can free us. And Sir Eric, for your courage, I shall grant you oblivion. And then a fight plays out. It's fucking dope. But ultimately, I can tell you without rolling dice, they fail. As you approach the gates, though, they're locked, and Otto Bellevue is taking another nap. So what are you guys gonna do?
Oh, for
While
fuck's
this
sake.
is, yeah. Well, I mean, that's his job.
Does it look like he has the key on him? If not, Darius is just gonna
Yeah.
schoolboy bully him, turn him upside down, and shake the keys out of him.
Yeah. You give him a quick schoolyard shakedown, find the key quickly. He looks around and he says, "Oh, hey, where you going? I hope your business went well.
Yep,
Have a
it's
nice
concluded. Bye.
All right." And you guys head down the mountain as you hear fucking nuclear blasts going off in the background. The whole mountain shakes, and you see a pillar of golden light fire down from the sky several times. Like a space satellite on Earth firing down lasers.
Oh, several times. Okay, I thought it was just two and just instant nuke on both of them.
You gotta double tap, bro. No, not on undead.
Uh,
You don't have to double tap. He's just mean. All right, and so you guys head back down the mountain at haste, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yep,
time.
we gotta stop in at the burgomaster's wife and be like, "Hey, yo, he's using people to make a Frankenstein." And then,
Oh, dang.
I think we know what happened to the body of your kid.
So the intention then is to go through Krezk and stop, or are you going to flee Krezk altogether? You going to make contact on your way out, or?
Might
There's
want to
some-
let Shane
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
we gotta grab Shane.
I guess I'll go to the Abbey and see what they're doing.
Days later, they're like, I can't believe he hasn't come after us yet. I can't believe we got out of there in one piece. And then finally someone's like, wait,
Where's Shane?
where's Shane?
I mean, it's not going to be Darius who says that, but
Yeah.
Anna will go get Shane.
Okay, so you guys split, you discuss in your hurried run
Yeah, I
down
feel like
the
half of us
mountainside.
probably go get Shane, half of us probably go to
Okay.
the burgomaster's wife.
Now I'm gonna
put
say
in
this:
the-
you guys are familiar with D&D combat. Your character's familiar with D&D combat. You also are familiar with my DM style that I think a 6-second combat round is bullshit. We go into biblical time when we are in a combat, right? A round takes as long as it needs to take, right? So even then, it is a hike down this 400-foot tall mountain, right? If you feel if he was gonna come for you, it feels like he would have come for you,
I mean,
As
if
you
it
were
was
going
an angel,
down the
he could just
mountain.
fly after us, right?
right? It feels like if he was really coming for you, he would have come for you as you guys are making your way down the mountain, right? Like that makes sense.
I mean, don't turn around. Just keep moving.
Okay.
So if I can travel back in time to the night before we left.
Oh, okay. Sure,
Um,
sure.
So the masseuse, she would have healed all the wounds that night. Is that right? The wounds, not the injuries, obviously.
Yeah, it would be one very long session.
Okay. Then the night that he would have gotten a sanctuary rest, like a long rest, right? And gotten rid of one of the injuries since he had no wounds last night.
Okay.
Does that track?
Yeah, and then he could make the Constitution save for the rest, right?
Second.
Yeah.
For a
Okay.
second injury.
Yeah. All right. So first, the injury will he's going to get rid of the one that give him disadvantage on con saves, which is wounded kidney. So that one goes away from last night, and he'll make a con save for another one. Let's see. Nope. All right. So still 3 injuries.
Okay. Let's see. All right. As you guys are making your way down the mountain, the passes kind of double back on each other, that sort of thing. You notice that the wind is starting to pick up. The snow is starting to become more pronounced and larger, heavier, and you guys hear a voice from higher above, kind of hidden by the swirl of the snow, and it says, I don't think we're done here yet. I was polite, and I waited for your answer. And now, I would have it from her lips. Such beautiful lips that will soon grace my masterpiece. All right, and I guess I'll take you over to this map. Let's see. If you have a minute or so to discuss or drink or not drink, but get a drink, refresh your drink, I gotta get this map out of storage, make sure it's set up properly. Or, you know, quietly, that's cool. That's cool. Alright. Turn on to snow.
Trying to calm down my heart rate.
Oh, buddy.
I know it's
This
not gonna help.
got real complicated.
It did.
Alright.
Does anybody have a magic weapon?
An extra one?
Just any magic weapon.
I mean, I've got my Dagger of the Seeker.
Okay, I know Esmeralda's got one.
The true silver ones count as magical for overcoming resistance.
For some creatures.
I don't think that's gonna work on this guy.
Silver
I
is
thought
good.
the extra part was just for some creatures.
The
Yeah.
true silver. True silver ones do. Yes, the true silver ones
Yeah,
do.
so-
just
Okay.
a silvered one doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right,
true
right.
silver is if it's a creature that has that can only be harmed by a silver weapon, then it'll do extra radiant damage to him.
So you guys came from this away. I guess it's hard to see.
Yeah, the
Because
map's
it's
dark.
oh, is it? All right,
Mhm.
hold on. And let's see. The path would continue off to the left, and let me get you guys a little bit more light because it's daytime. All right. Token vision, global illumination. There we go. It's still Barovia, so it can't be that bright. All right. All right. So as you guys are heading down the mountain, you know when they try to make Superman like look real scary? I guess the boys does that pretty well. He's doing that like M. Bison arms crossed, stiff posture flying. Omni-Man too, I guess, right?
He's doing the
Uh,
Homelander on us? God damn it.
Yeah, so as he kind of descends from the swirling mist up above, he's currently 60 feet up. He looks down at all of you, and he says, your knights died valiantly, and I gave them the gift of oblivion. If you stand against my vision, you will join them. For any brave enough to face me deserve a relief from death. I ask for a small trifle, a trinket, and I offer so much in return. This is your last chance to see my vision for what it is, to see the truth of it, the brilliance of it, before I am forced to take matters into my own hands. And as he says hands, his hands twitch, and they are glowing with golden light.
Irenia, you have the holy symbol. What's it telling you?
She has it, and she kind of fishes out of her average, but functional cleavage, and she brandishes it. It glows brightly, and the abbot looks at it and says, "That is the symbol. That is." There is a presence there. The Morning Lords. And you see his face go from this perfect kind of statue sort of look, and it cracks into like the saddest fucking like Dawson from Dawson's Creek cry face, if you know what I'm talking about. Just a fucking mask of misery. And he says, his power, it still lingers there.
She's a follower of the Morning Lord. Would you mutilate one such as her? She truly
How
believes
came you to find such a relic in this dark age?
Remember that story I told you about the Faithless? Found it amongst the ruins of that tree. We're trying to do good here.
The curse can't be broken. Don't you understand? Don't you know how many times I've tried? How many times I've seen others fail? How many times I myself have been brought low? And never am I gifted death, a return to the mountain. No, it never ends. There is no breaking the cycle. But there could be. I could distract him. I could
I could make something perfect with these hands. These hands could make something perfect. That he might forget. That he might move on. And as he holds up his hands, they're just like made of light, but you can see like dark, like diseased blood just like dripping from the hands 60 feet to the mountainside below. Oh, Daniel, you might be muted.
Sorry. Yeah, Daniel will step forward and he'll say, I don't know much about the Morning Lord. And he'll look at Arena and, feel that phantom pain. He said, but I felt his power. And I do know that he is healing and he is hope. He is not the mutilation of innocence. He is not despair. As much as we all want to give up, and as much as we all think it's our fault, the only way we can win, and he's channeling Jenny here a little bit, is with the light. I know it's hard. Fight through it every day. It's so hard to see. But if you keep looking, it's there. And anyone notices, he is trembling.
All right, Daniel, we discussed this DC 30 persuasion.
Okay.
However, by asking Irenia to present to him the holy symbol of Ravenkind, one of your 5 Taroka card readings, one of the 5 sources of power for you in this world, the DC is dropped to a 25.
Oh man. Cool. All right. Here's
Well, do you
the
have
base roll.
Do you have any DM inspo?
Yes.
So you're going to use DM Inspiration?
Can I use inspiration? Can I use inspiration and factspiration on the same roll?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'm going to use a recapspiration.
Oh shit. Okay. Makes sense. 10 minutes left. I got you.
And my factspiration.
Okay.
So that's another D8.
Well, you're using your psychic die, and then you're using the. You guys are level 9, so still a D8. So.
Yeah, so 5 plus factspiration. So.
All right.
So, 13 added to that.
Okay. Daniel. With your 38 persuasion.
Hell yeah.
Damn, son.
The abbot looks at you, and Daniel, for the first time in forever, as you lock eyes with him, your legs do not hurt. And the grief that you feel about the fate of those 2 boys, it numbs. And he says, "You have given me much to think about. You may go." And he flies off.
Come on, guys, let's go. Let's not give him a second thought.
All right, I'll take you guys back to the dashboard.
Daniel would.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Daniel would. He would hesitate a moment after everyone else walks up. look up to the mountain, and probably for the first time since he was in, church school, does a little prayer under his breath. And then walks back to town.
All right. As you guys arrive back in Krezk, you see that there is a gathering of people at the start of the trail, right, that leads up to the thing. That's a crowd has formed. They seem confused and scared. For you old people, it's like all the people that stupidly gathered around the skyscraper at the end of the first Ghostbusters movie. Like, right? Like, not a safe place to be. Not a good decision. But their curiosity, their wonder, their fear was too great. They had to be there. They had to see what was happening. As you guys come into view through the heavy snow, there's a murmur amongst them. And then one of them moves up and says, they sort of look at you and they're like, "What happened up there? We saw a great light from the sky before the snow started. A golden light. Has something happened?"
We had a talk with the abbot. That's all. Where's the burgomaster? We need to speak with him too.
Okay. The burgomaster and his wife kind of cut through the back of the crowd. Everyone sort of gets out of their way as they do. The burgomaster looks pissed, like his wife went behind his back and hired some adventurers to take care of some messy business that, isn't for outsiders. The wife looks surprised, that you're still alive, because it's Barovia, but also eager to hear what you have to say. And the burgomaster turns, and with a rumbly growl in his voice, he says, "Disperse, all of you. We will meet with these outsiders in private, and I will tell you, when we are done, what news they bring from the Abbey." And there's a couple that want to be like, "Nah, dog," but given the nature of Dmitry Krezkov, the people of Krezk, and the situation, they all disperse. All right.
Darius will go up to Lady Krezkov and kind of lean in. We have some news. You're probably not gonna like it, but we should go somewhere we can talk about it.
Okay. She nods. She looks to the burgomaster. He nods and says, "Come, you can... Well, we can make room in our home." And then as you're walking, Baroness Anna Kreskova says, "I notice you are missing your knights."
The abbot has a bit of a temper.
Dmitry kind of growls again under his breath and says, "We will discuss in private." All right. And the inside of their house looks like every other house in town because socialism. There you go. Oh man, some blast from the past here. There we go.
Look at that Skyrim house.
Yeah. All right. Got an Anna. All right.
Do I assume you guys got me before you went to get the burgomaster?
Well, half
Anna
split
did
up
all
to
the
go
commotion.
grab Shane, so assuming you probably hear gossip around, like, oh, they're talking to the burgomaster or something like that.
Yeah. I would assume that if Anna and other people who can move with a quickness kind of went to fetch Shane, you could bring him over before the meeting with the burgomaster and his wife get too underway. All right. So, as the doors close, Anna goes to prepare some hot tea and bring, like, bread or something. some dried pork, that kind of thing, and then the rest of the party, you guys would catch up. The burgomaster stands with his arms crossed, looking angry but also eager for news. Baroness Anna Kreskova says, "What happened up there? Tell me. Tell me everything."
Darius will look at the Baron. You shouldn't be too angry with her. She was concerned. I screwed up, so she asked me to go look into something.
He smiles and says, "She is always an opportunist, but she is a clever mind and is willing to act on the impulses that I myself never trust. I too am curious. What news do you bring?"
So, if I didn't say it right before, sorry for digging into the graves. But I think we know why those bodies were being taken. The abbot's lost his mind. And he thinks that by using the bodies that were taken, he can make a new body that will appease the Dark Lord.
Okay, a couple of things happen. One, Burgomaster Dimitri's face screws up in disgust at your blasphemy, and then further disgust at your insinuations. Baroness Anna Kreskova looks at you with sort of a dismissive look of like you've got to be oversimplifying things here a little bit, and then she sort of looks past Darius at the whole group and says, "Is what he says true? And what does that mean for my daughter? What has happened to her?" Anybody?
So
Anybody?
the thing to understand about the abbot that I think will help sort of not alleviate, but at least explain why he acts the way he does. He's not a man. He's something greater from elsewhere, acting as a person. When according to our resident expert on the subject, when these beings are away from their home for too long, something in them breaks, especially when they can't accomplish their mission. And his mission was to free or cleanse here, this Barovia. And he can't do it. And he's been trying and trying, and he is insane.
But what happened to my daughter? And on that question is where we'll end the session. Oof. Because we both have to head out at one. That's so
Yeah.
Don't want to keep everybody. Oh, holy shit! Holy shit!
Well done, Mr. Gamble, Mr. Harwood, sir.
I was honestly like, if he doesn't make this is gonna be rough, because this dude has magical flight, and now they're outside.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
real bad.
Yeah, so like inside the building where you're quote unquote supposed to fight him, like that doesn't really help him that much. But like outside, oh my god. Oh man.
I felt it was worth the chance.
I mean, at that point.
May as well throw the whole Hail Mary at that point.
Holy shit. Alright. Gosh. I don't really have any announcements except if you if you can or cannot play on Easter by the end of today, I would really like to know what the situation is. If like 3 out of 5 of you can and want to play on Easter, we will play Easter morning. If 2 or more of you are like, hell no, dude, I gotta sacrifice virgin men, drink their blood, Ishtar forever, then that's fine. Then we'll
that's
go ahead.
Wednesdays.
Yeah. So, but please commit by the end of today, whether you can play or not. I know we've had to cancel quite a few games because weekends are rough and therapist says I have to take time off and vacations and stuff, and I don't know, whatever. What greater mental health vacation is there than Barovia?
Spending time with friends in this nightmare world.
Yeah. 3 times a week having to torment people that I don't really dislike any of you, so I feel really bad sometimes. Like having to running this 3 times is I'm starting to feel like the Abbot. I'm starting to feel a little worn down at the edges there.
Could
yeah.
you qualify
but,
this as a therapy session if you're doing it with others?
I don't know, man. So yeah, so let me know by the end of the day. I don't really have any other announcements. We did do a playtest of Born from Ice last night, which is a non-magical caveman inspired D&D setting that Lauren on our Discord server is actually getting ready to kickstart, I believe late next month. It was solid. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. I have a feeling with had a very frustrating night last night. I have a feeling that we may have to play test it again.
I was thinking that too.
I know. I feel horrible.
It was a first pass. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just be even better the next time. cry forever. So yeah, if we do post that, it was free to play and it was a lot of fun. And very very interesting take on D&D. It really felt pretty fresh. Pretty fresh take on D&D. So I was enjoying it. And then 2 weekends from now, not next weekend, but the following weekend, we'll be playing so much Sea of Thieves. 2 weeks from now, when this session ends, I will spin my chair around and suddenly to be a pirate, and we're gonna play for like 12 hours straight. So much pirating, it's gonna be amazing. If you are interested in playing Sea of Thieves, the community weekend is that weekend. Chances are the game will either be free or on sale. It's always free on Game Pass for PC or Xbox, and it's one of my favorite games. I've been playing it since the first day it came out, on and off because I'm very busy. But we got some real cool people in the server that play. If you like listening to like Australian accents, we've got a new guy in our guild. He's got an Australian accent. He's hilarious. It's very fun to hang out with. So because we have a guild, it's drop in, drop out into people's boats. We all share resources and assets and progression, and it's just a joy. It's really fun. And there's no level up system. It's just you log in, you play, and the only thing that you're grinding is cosmetics. So there's no way that someone's gonna have a plus 50 cutlass and cut you down in one hit with their plus 50 cutlass. It's all just skill and circumstance, and that's my big push. Anybody else have any announcements before we adjourn?
We're full up, but next Sunday, Red is running a one-shot for Mothership. It'll be right after next week's session, so I'll be streaming it. So come around and watch. I'll do another plug later, but yeah.
Okay, great. Then in that case, everybody, I hope you enjoy your Sunday. You have a good week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, Valentine's Day this week. Yeah, too. Yeah. And all that good stuff. So enjoy your day. I'm gonna go feed some nerds some pizza, some small nerds some pizza. All right, later.
Thanks for running, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.
Yeah.
It is my hubby's birthday, so I gotta take off and go